Great. So let's get started. So again, my name is Giovanni. I am the Customer Success Manager here at Ametree, the makers of Folio. And today I want to walk you through kind of 5 key things that I think every Folio subscriber should be using and should be aware of. So those will be things like 5 things we're talking about is like how to use Folio kind of on your mobile device. We'll talk about the client folders, those pre-contract smart folders. We'll talk about best practices for timeline use. We'll briefly touch on templates and how to use the request a review feature. So we'll go over all those items. Please feel free to use the chat feature there to ask any questions. And if I don't get to answer the questions as we're going through, I'll make sure to hang back and answer them at the end of the session here. So we'll get started. So again, thank you again for joining and for being a Folio subscriber. We do want to make sure that you are getting the most out of your subscription. And so we're going to highlight those features and items that we discussed. So we'll start with number 1, using Folio on your mobile device. So a common question we get is, does Folio work on my mobile device? Do we have an app? We don't have an app, but we do have a very mobile-friendly website. So what that means is that it's a responsive site. So what that means is when you visit ametree.com, and you sign in with your Folio account, so that's ametree.com. If you're not a local user, it's best to go to ametree.com/outlook. But what you'll find is the mobile site, the website that we've improved a while back ago, where it has all your smart folders, is accessible on the website on the mobile page as well. So what you end up seeing is something like this, where you can actually interact with Folio on your phone or your iPad, where you can do just about everything you do on our website, which is confirming or adding a brand new folder, and more importantly, accessing your existing folder. So as you're on the go, you're between showings, you're going between clients, and you need to access some information instead of opening up your laptop, firing it up, connecting to the internet or a hotspot. Making sure that you have, or making sure that you're on a computer that has the Folio extension installed or Chrome, you can just kind of whip out your phone, log in, and interact with the site here. So you can quickly kind of just go ahead and open up any smart folder, and you'll see all the relevant items for that transaction. So whether that's the timeline, you can come in here and do so and interact with the timeline like you normally would. Add, update, make adjustments to those events, or let's find another example here, or see a quick snippet of your email history, the relevant players that you have there, and any attachments and notes that you've added. So the attachments are kind of like a quick, neat little thing. That way, instead of, again, going through all your email, you can just scroll down in here, look for that disclosures PDF that you received. You're maybe not sure which email it's in, but it's in there. Folio's already found it for you. You can quickly just access it that way. And then it'll download it on the device they're using, and boom, there it is. So it saves you time doing that. So that's one key thing about kind of how to use Folio on your mobile device. On the client side of things, when you share a timeline, and when you send them that email invites, right? So when you send them that email, sharing them to the timeline, or if you're working with a colleague, if they view the email from a mobile device, so when you send that email, and you can make that an adjustment, and when you send that email from the mobile device, when they open that email in the mobile device, whether that's a tablet or a phone, they'll be prompted to opt in for SMS text message updates. So instead of just getting email updates as you're updating the timeline, they also can opt in for those SMS messages. So this helps deal with clients that maybe aren't as email friendly, or they don't necessarily like logging into the website, but they're fine with text. Those text messages, those update notifications will be received via text once they opt in. So that only happens on the first time they open that invite. So if you have clients that are requesting SMS text notifications, just go ahead and resend the invite to them and let them know that they should open it from their mobile device. Great. Let's talk about clients, what we call like client folders or pre-contract folders. You may be seeing emails from Folio or brand new suggestions, and instead of seeing an address, you're actually seeing something more like a name. And those are our kind of new client suggestions. Folio supports you not just during not when you're just working on a client that's in a transaction, but rather before that. So you can confirm or add a brand new client that's whether that's a buyer that's looking to buy, maybe you're working on them after they've been qualified, or someone referred you to a potential seller and you want to add them and start tracking the communications with them. So we can do that through Folio. So we'll use the website version today. So we'll go ahead and add this one, Kelsey, as my potential buyer. And what you'll see Folio do is very similar to what we do for your transactions, is that we'll start collecting the emails between you and the client, right? Between myself and Kelsey. You can start adding all the relevant contacts. Maybe there's more than one buyer. Maybe you're working with investor. You can add all the relevant roles there as it goes on. Any notes that you're adding, perhaps like what their budget is, what type of homes they're looking for, what support neighborhood, you're adding all those notes in there. And of course, any emails that come in with attachments will also highlight. So as soon as you get that pre-approval notice, you could start, creating a timeline, or even before then, for them, and start scheduling out all their showings. And this is a good way of, one, keeping track of where that buyer's at, highlighting what you're doing for them. You can share this timeline just like you would a timeline that's under contract. And what's nice is once they do find their home and they're ready to, and they've accepted an offer, say that they did that, they find that tomorrow, you can go ahead and convert this into, looks like there's too many buyers on this one, so let me just remove a few of these because they're not as relevant. Perhaps, like, again, maybe there's Kelsey is not just the only buyer. There's also maybe their spouse or another investor. Go ahead and make sure that we find them, and then you add. All you need to do from that point is add the relevant address for the buyer. You can even rename the folder to reflect the new address for the transaction, and update the smart folder. And what Folio will do now is convert this into kind of a traditional transaction folder or smart folder. And instead of tracking the emails just between you and the relevant client, so before it was just tracking emails between myself and Kelsey and any other person that I identified as a client, just their contacts. Now Folio will start looking at the emails that reference the 2350 Santa Rosa property and start populating them in there. So inside your Gmail or in your Outlook, you'll have a brand new folder, or the folder that was referencing just a client is now going to be also referencing and looking for emails between for this property. So all the emails are coming in here as we have exchanges. We're working with the lender or the seller. As emails come in, they'll start getting populated over here. So it's a great way to make sure that you're now managing your clients all the way from pre-contract through offer acceptance, through all the way to close. It's a pre-contract folder. So one little thing about if you haven't noticed, while we're on this page is on the website today. We do have, you can have as many events as you like, but we did add a little task feature, and this is kind of a basic feature, just a little thing here where you can add tasks and little things that you want to, or items you want to track that don't necessarily need to live inside the timeline. Perhaps these are tasks that you're managing; they don't really have a specific date. Maybe making sure that you've collected certain documents or you've sent items over to your client. You can keep track of that on the task list over here. And that's available only on the website, so you can come in here and take a look at this. So eventually we hope to bring that over to the extension, but for now, primarily lives on the website. And let's go back over here. So let's talk about timelines in general. So as you're working with a client, we'll continue to use this item over here. So we do have items here on our timeline. So as you're working with a client or a buyer, seller, you do have the option to create, close some of these windows here, and add as many events that you find are relevant to your transaction or to your deal, which is great. So, but a couple things that we want to make sure that you are doing is utilizing some of these features. So, in addition to just being able to add an event, we do have options like adding the specific time, adding the status, and also adding reminders for those events. The nice thing about the status, if you do have a reminder that's set for tomorrow or like one day, and you finish an item early, Folio will then stop that reminder from going out. But it's good practice to utilize those reminders. But the main thing I actually want to talk about is the notes section. It's actually a really powerful way for you to communicate with your client or the relevant people, the relevant players that are shared on the timeline. In general, when you send and invite someone to a timeline, about 97% in terms of users in Folio see that the recipient opens the timeline, and on average, clients visit the timeline website about three times per week. So that's 3 times per week that they are viewing that timeline that you've provided and set up for them. And those are opportunities for you to provide information for them or to them. That way they're not messaging you, whether that's via text or email, giving you a call, because you have information for them that's relevant about the upcoming dates or events that are coming up. That's in front of them 24/7. So that's a great way to reduce those unnecessary emails or messages they receive about information that you've already provided for them in the past, or they may have questions about. This is a great way to make sure that you're utilizing, maximizing the use and time that your clients are in front of the timeline. Not all events are relevant, right, for your clients. Perhaps you're submitting something to your broker, and this is something that you want to track, or you and your assistant or TC are tracking in the timeline, but you don't want your client to see it because, one, it's not relevant, or you prefer to just kind of keep that on your end. We do have the option to make events private or semi-private. So if you click on this, if you click into an event and you click on this little icon over here, this actually controls the visibility settings, and I can make an event only to be seen only by me as the creator of the timeline, or I can allow anyone with edit permissions to see the timeline. So if you are sharing a timeline with your assistant, your transaction coordinator, or your colleague, your partner, the office, and you give them edit permissions to the timeline when you first share it, now when you add an event, this event will only be seen by you and the person that you give an edit permissions to. So again, it's a great tool to keep yourself on track, keep your colleagues on track, while keeping a separation of certain events away from your client or someone that doesn't need to see. Great. While we're on the subject of timelines, let's say as you're building out a timeline, you've added events, you really like how the messaging and the information you provided for them worked out for you. Why not save yourself time the next time you have to start a brand new transaction, right? So if you're working with buyers or sellers, uh, and for the most part, events and certain key dates and information are standard, and you're going to be utilizing and providing that information over and over again instead of reinventing the wheel every time. Go ahead and utilize our templates feature where you can come in here and add information and save it in a template. That way, the next time you start a brand new transaction or folder, you can quickly apply that template, which includes all the status updates, the reminders, and of course the visibility settings. That way you can control what's seen and you don't have to overthink it too much. If you are working with an assistant or an admin, and you want to make sure you're both utilizing those same templates, send us an email to support@amatree.com, and what we can do for you is copy the templates from one account over to the other, and that way you both have like standardized templates. So regardless who starts that timeline, you know that you're going to get the same type of updates. And while on the subject of those templates, again, perhaps not every buyer or not every listing is the same. Sometimes there are different sorts of situations. Perhaps you're working with an investor, doing a cash only deal, or you're doing a short sale. If you're a transaction coordinator, maybe you're working with clients that are out of state, and so you need slightly different templates. You can create customized templates, and all you have to do is select which side you're going to be representing for that side of the template and name it as you like, and you can have as many different templates to address different situations as needed. And what's really nice about our templates, once you have them created, again, saving you some time, or you made an adjustment perhaps you made a brand new template or you made updates to an existing template, you can come in here and simply on the website, come in here and apply that relevant template. That way it applies to your existing timeline. So now when I go in here and view my timeline, it'll update with the relevant dates. Great. So now the last thing. So once our closing date has passed, Folio will prompt you to archive the smart folder, of course, download the emails into a PDF. But you also have a new option here to ask for a review. So if you're working with a client and you want to provide them, and they had a great experience, you want to make sure that others are seeing the great work that you're providing for your clients, and you want to continue to grow your brand. Folio supports you in that way by giving you the ability to ask for a review. And it's a really simple system. All you need to do is add the relevant client, add the relevant URL for the review site, whether that's Zillow, Facebook, Google, and just add it up here. You can modify the message and then send it on its way. So let's do a quick example. Give me 1 second. One thing that we do with our Zillow URLs in general, let's see if I have that up here, is that when we ask for a review, and you can do it from the website or at any time, is that we provide a slightly modified text here for you, simply because we know that Zillow reviews, there's a few extra hoops there, so we provide that information to the client when it's sent out. So again, all you need to do is add the URL of the specific review site. It's one URL per email, but you can send this email as many times as you like, especially if you want to go ahead and try to get reviews for multiple review sites. Okay. And with that, ideally your client receives that email, they provide that feedback on a review site. If you want to collect more, all you have to do is resend that email and update the URL for the review site. Great. So that's it as far as like the things I wanted to highlight for today. A couple quick things on what's coming down the pipeline. For our Gmail users, we were working on a brand new Google Drive integration, and that will be an integration with your Google Drive. That way, one of the key things that we'll be doing is providing the ability for you to upload documents to your Drive quickly. And then that'll open the road for us to be able to kind of share things in the future. So keep an eye out for that. Our Outlook users, we're working on an Office 365 Outlook add-on. That way you can experience Folio kind of inside your inbox. Today, we know that you have to have your inbox open in addition to the Folio website open. We're planning on adding an add-on where you have something similar to the sidebar in Outlook. And other items that are coming down our pipeline is also with our Gmail users and extension. We're going to be providing you with more information while you're in your inbox. So keep an eye out for that. It'll be kind of a cool, nifty little tool that it's always be there, just kind of giving information and quick access to your emails and the context all around it. Just be on the lookout for that. Great. With that, I'll pause here and hang back to answer any questions you have. Thank you for your time. There is one question regarding, this goes back to the mobile side, and if you have to sign in to view a timeline. The question is, I believe this relates to accessing the timeline if folks need to create an account to view the timeline. I'm assuming this is for potentially a client or even a colleague. No. To view the timeline, you do not owe. A Folio account is not required. In fact, we don't really, we only suggest Folio account should be created for if you're a real estate professional. If you're not, like specifically a client, you don't need a Folio account. All you need to do from your end is send the invite to your client, as long as they have a valid email address. Once they open up that email and they click on the invite, let's see if we can have an existing one. As long as they click on the invite, what will happen is that they'll be taken to the website, and we save some cookies there to make sure that they're authorized to see it, and they'll have access to the timeline version of Folio. If you're ever in doubt of what your client's going to see, go into the timeline website, from the timeline view, and simply click on the shared view. And this is what your client will see. This is the timeline website that your client will see, and they can access via the email notifications. So no, a Folio account is not required, or a specific sign-in is required to view the timeline website. As long as they are accessing your invite or your timeline through the email and invite and notification updates, they'll be fine. Question is, can you send template emails? For instance, I send a transaction coordinate email to all clients. Can that be set up? Templatized emails. We don't have templatized emails today. The only email that we have really that goes out are the invite emails. Outside of that, we don't have any standardized or templatized emails. Everything kind of goes out on its own. So all the notification and update emails go out on their own. They're fixed. Those can't be edited. And the invite and the review emails can be edited before you send them, but we don't have templates for them yet today. That's something that we are looking into. I'd love to hear more about your feedback about kind of what you would like to see there. That would be great. Feel free to send us an email at support@diamondtree.com. Let us know more about what features you're looking into. We're tracking a lot of that today and working to tackle some of those the more popular requests, or finding a way to resolve the core issue. Are there any other questions? One question that I want to make sure if you don't already know, like a common question, like where do we get support? How do we contact you? We don't have like a readily available phone number. We typically, if we need a phone call, we'll reach out to you. But if you do need or have questions in general, just click on the support site. So we'll do that again. So from the website, you can click on help and support. Right? You can search for questions, find common answers and tips on issues you may be encountering, questions you have, or you can always just start a little chat here with us and we'll get back to you as soon as we can. One more question here. If you add something that's less than 3 days of the due date, the email does not go out. Anytime, I'm not sure if I completely understand the question, but anytime you add an event, regardless of when the due date is when the due date is there, or the closing date, as soon as you add the event, we track that as a change to the timeline, and if the timeline is active. And within half an hour to an hour, we'll send an update to anyone that's shared on the email. So if I add this event now, let's say and it's due, let's say the closing date's due 3 days from now. It doesn't matter when I add it or when that timeline's due. As soon as I save this event, within an hour, and everyone shared on the timeline will receive a notification that there was a change, that there was a new event added. So they do go out. So as long as the timeline's active, meaning you haven't archived it, changes to the timeline will continue to notify and update your client or anyone shared on. Hopefully that answers that question. Awesome. So again, thank you for your time. Again, I'll add the email address here in general, support@ametree.com. If you have any questions or follow-ups, feel free to message me there, and I'll make sure to get back to you. Thank you for your time. I really appreciate it.